Glad you could join us. Now, the minority in Parliament is demanding that government suspends plans to officially inaugurate the $2 billion Sinohydro project tomorrow until two documents requested by the House ahead of approval are provided. When Parliament debated the agreements last year, minority MPs raised concerns it was brought for approval without a legal opinion from the Attorney General and a value-for-money audit as is required by law. The majority assured it will be made available subsequently, but minority spokesperson on roads and transport, Kwame Akpoja, says that has not been done. He questioned why government is going ahead to inaugurate the project in the absence of the two documents. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us on the line. Joseph, what more do we know? Joseph, if you can hear me, what more do we know? Right, apologies, we are unable to bring you that interview with Joseph now, but let's hear Kwame Akpoja now.
But the Sinohydro agreement that came to Parliament was fraught with so many irregularities, and which was pointed out. You'll notice I allege that this would be one of the most expensive road projects in the country. In other words, an ordinary double sail road under this contract would be $1.2 million. Very, very expensive, not asphaltic overlay. As compared to any other road we do in this country, which should be $500,000 and other things. Significantly, in that agreement, you'll notice that whereas many agreements that come to this House would have value for money auditing as a condition precedent for the activation of the contract, that was missing in this document. We believe this document was put together not by professionals, but was put together in a rush. So we demanded value for money to be done. We are told value for money is not being done by any reputable company. Some individuals have been selected from Ghana Institute of Surveyors to do some value for money, the report to which is not even known, yet the government is going ahead. You will notice that under this same agreement, the AG didn't give any legal opinion as to whether this agreement is valid or not. They also said at the time we were taking the debate that will be provided. These two significant things are still missing, yet we are going ahead. Whilst we are not against the building of the interchange or anything, we believe that this contract is hyper-inflated. The only way we can clean it up is to have a proper authentic organization to do a proper value for money audit that will clean up or confirm figures and other things. That has not been done.
Okay.
And the Vice President is pushing for this job to commence.
So they are going ahead with the commissioning tomorrow. Your expectation is what? They pulled brakes on the expected?
Yes, because the figures are inflated. You saw a shot of a picture for project a report. It's $60. And I'm saying that you can only go to, in fact, it gets me to a point of questioning the authenticity of the lender, because every reputable financial institution in this world that will lend a government money would make, if it's a construction or a project, will make value for money auditing as a condition precedent. It's missing in this document. It only tells that the lender is not reputable.
Joseph joins us live now. Now, Joseph, what more has been happening in the House?
So this particular issue has, to a certain extent, been playing out on the floor of the House itself a while ago. The House is currently considering a report of the Committee on Defense and Interior on a commercial agreement between government and another company, Poly Chanda, Overseas Engineering, and also Polytechnologies Incorporated, which are Chinese firms, for a housing project for the military to the tune of $100 million. And they would also be constructing a number of training facilities and offices for the military across the country, here in Accra, in Tamale, and other areas. And the House has been debating approving this particular agreement so that then the work can begin for the construction of the houses for the military. And again, Kwame Akpoja, the MP for Adaklu, and the ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee have been drawing the attention of the House to the fact that when this particular agreement came before the House, and he made the point that just like the Sinohydro agreement, the Public Financial Management Act requires that it should have come with a value for money audit as well as an opinion from the Attorney General. But again, for this $100 million housing project for the military, those two documents did not accompany the agreement that came to the floor of the House. And so they, the minority, are demanding it again. Muntaka Mubarak, the chief whip, has again been making demands for that particular document. And there's been responses from those on the majority side. Patrick Boama, who is the Deputy Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, has been indicating that he's aware that the AG's opinion has been sought on this particular $100 million deal for the housing project for the military. And so it's available. And the minority are insisting that they want to see it before they would back approval for this particular deal, although they are in support of the project to help provide housing for the men and women as well as officers of the Ghana Armed Forces. So they are currently debating that even as they prepare to approve this $100 million project.
Right, thank you very much, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, for that update. The issues of power supply now, and the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, says it is not responsible for the current intermittent outages being experienced in parts of the country. The power distributor, PDS, on Friday issued a statement suspending its load shedding timetable following a directive from Gridco to do so. But some Ghanaians have since then experienced outages, this time without notice. Addressing journalists, Chief Engineer Technician in charge of transmission, Bernard Tetpo, said the current outages may be due to external factors outside the purview of Gridco.
Firstly, I wouldn't say that this has affected, is the cause of outages that is going on. You can see a lot of lines are here. So the loads that are coming from the generating stations are being carried by the other conductors, other towers that are around. We have about 7 lines here. So 2 are down, and then the other ones are still carrying. They have the capacity to carry. So since that point, that time, nothing happened. But the very day this thing collapsed, the system, there was a little bit of destabilization, and it settled. That was the very day, and it didn't really, as we speak, that's why we are even taking our time to do this thing gradually in-house. It's not giving out to any contractor, but we are doing it in-house, because it's not really affecting, how do you call it, load dispatch and other things.
So give it a minimum of 2 weeks. A minimum of 2 weeks. I mean, like when should we see like pylons up, power running through them?
Right now, you can see that partially one is almost standing. And then one is completed and it's lying down there. So it's a matter of just lifting it. We could even have done that yesterday, but for the rains, we will not be able to bring the cranes here to do that because the crane might get stuck. Okay, so we intend to rather continue to assemble the second one, by which time the grounds will also be very solid for us to come and do the 2 at a go. Yeah.
Just again for emphasis, you're saying that you don't have problems with your transmission and that you are sending power to the various.
Oh yes, that is a fact. That's the fact on the ground. This is not affecting anything. It's not the cause of outages and things. Outages that comes out could be other factors and not necessarily this one.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Daze. We move to other issues now. And a 35-year-old Nigerian, Rebecca Ojo Odonti, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for lashing her daughter with a kitchen knife and a pair of scissors. The 12-year-old, according to her mother, has been stealing from her to give to her boyfriend. Rebecca Ojo Odonti, who was convicted on her own plea, told Joy News she was driven by rage after her daughter ignored her numerous warnings. She has been speaking to my colleague, Patricia Roxton Hammond.
Rebecca's trial has been swift. She was arrested last Friday. Her trial opened on Monday and was convicted same day after she pleaded guilty. Though a tearful Rebecca admits she inflicted the wounds on her daughter, she explains she had come to her wits' end after several efforts to talk her out of it.
The trouble my daughter had been causing me, she had always been stealing anything, unless she didn't set her eyes on the thing. If it's money, any amount it is, she will take all. She will not leave anyone for me. Reaching last month, it was 2 phones she stole from the house. Somebody plugged phone in my room. She stole it and gave it to a certain boy. They call him Charles. My own phone, I was also sleeping. She take my own phone to the same Charles. I took her to Osu police station to report the case. They said that it's a child. They cannot discipline her. They cannot do what I asked them because I asked them to detain her and investigate who had been sending her to steal. They said they cannot do that. I returned her home. So I now decided to return them back to Nigeria. I called the father for him to send me money so that I would send them back home. He told me ending of the month, the 9th, we sleep again. 100 and then 19, the 50% that left in my purse, she come in and take all without leaving even 10%. And that was the last money that left with me that I was having. So when I wake up and realize that she had taken the money and she left the door open and lie down again, pretend as if nothing happened. That money she took that night was the last money. When I think, what are we going to eat tomorrow? I was so frustrated because I don't know who to go to. I don't know who to run to. The father promised to send money. He have not sent it. That was the only money that left with me, even in the bank. I used the scissors to cane her hand. I used the knife to cane her hand. I didn't use it to cut her. I was caning her with the thing because if she do something, you don't do her anything. The next day, she will do the bigger one. She will do the one. She don't want to change. She started this attitude from Nigeria before we left the country to Ghana here.
The victim, together with her 2 siblings, have been taken away from Rebecca to Nigeria, and she is also expected to be deported after she serves her sentence. She's, however, pleading to be pardoned so she could fend for her children.
I have to go and take care of my kids. If it's to send me back to my country, I will go back to my country, not to send me to jail because nobody will take care of the other 2.
Deputy Regional Coordinator at DOFSU, DSP Cecilia Harriet Apia Ampofo tells Joy News fast-track sentencing is how the units will now be handling abuse cases.
Every child has the right to live and right to do everything. And you don't discipline your child to hurt him or her. It's against Ghana's law. The acts, the Constitution doesn't allow that. And DOFSU, our acts also doesn't allow it. If a child does something, you have to correct him or her in a rightful way. You don't correct him or her as in punishing him or her. Any woman who assaults her son or daughter or her child will be arrested and sent to court, and she will be prosecuted.
Rebecca is expected to start her sentence on Tuesday. For Joy News, Patricia Roxanne Hammond, Accra.
Speaking on the back of the story, human rights activist Angela Dramina Boache says it will be proper for legal aid to take up the matter. She also noted the police should have taken an action when the mother reported the theft, though the victim is a minor.
Any act of discipline that goes overboard, as in it becomes abusive or it becomes an act of violence, it's wrong and needs to be punished accordingly by the law. She's done what is unjustifiable. She pleaded guilty and she has been sentenced accordingly. But I would wish that somebody would pick this up, maybe the Legal Aid Board of Ghana, and look at the extent of injuries and look at the decision of the court and see whether an appeal can be made. Because remember, again, the best interest of the child is at hand here. She's the mother of 3 children. Now they have to be sent to their father. We don't even know the circumstances of this relationship or marriage or whatever it is. And they're going back into a situation we have no idea about. If there was any way in which this sentence could be reduced, in a sense, that would also be good, because you are also looking at the mother who takes care of her children, okay? And then the child who needs protection. I'm sure when the child was sent to the police station, the police said they couldn't do anything, and they were right, because criminal responsibility is at 12 in this country, 12 years of age. But that does not mean, and that's where my beef is with the police, that if they were sensitive enough, they would have referred the mother to a counseling agency or the Department of Social Welfare, so something can be done about that child. It is not enough to say we throw our hands up in the air, we can do nothing. That's why they are trained to be who they are, especially if it was the DOFSU police. So they refer the mother and child to an appropriate agency that can handle those aspects that the mother said, I just couldn't deal with. But it would have been good if she had legal representation. Even this is not too late, that the Legal Aid Board, can come to her aid and look at the evidence and take it up and, on appeal and plead that the sentence be lessened. It's not late, even at this point. But that the process, there's something wrong with the process. No. You can have people sentenced on their plea in an hour, okay, once the evidence is intact and all of that. But, I'm saying that even now, it's not too late for the case to be picked up, because remember, remember, the children are involved. The best interest of the child is still at play here, and I'm not sure it's in the best interest of the child to have the mother incarcerated for a long time.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazen. Now, a 2017-2018 UNICEF report on pre-primary school education has shown an increase in the number of Guinean children of school-going age out of school. According to the latest report, 400,000 children between the ages of 4 and 7 are not in school yet. This is a little above the 390,000 children reported in the 2016-2017 Education Management Information Systems (EMIS) report from the Ministry of Education. Poverty is key among the 3 factors contributing to this development. It is, however, worrying for the reports that after having introduced the F-Cube for so long, the country is still grappling with such a challenge. First, we speak with UNICEF's education specialist, Madis Adamu Musa, for more on this report. Good afternoon, Madis.
Good afternoon.
Now, this report about F-Cube and poverty, is it that the children are not going, or they make the attempt but are prevented by parents or the community?
No. Nobody prevents children from going to school. There are a number of reasons that keep these 400,000 or so children out of school. You know, for children who live in hard-to-reach areas, let's say in villages where children have to walk 3, 4, 5 kilometers to school, the distance alone is a hindrance. There may be rivers on the way, and you will not allow your 4 or 5-year-old child to walk to school. This is not like a junior high school where the children are older and they can walk to school. Another reason may also be of disability. There are children within these 400 who have various forms of disability, and because of that, their parents keep them at home and do not send them to school, either because they think the children will be ridiculed or the school hasn't got the facilities to cater for these children. We have other reasons also, like early enrollment. You know, some people want to fast-track the education of their children. So against policy, they may enroll their children in P1 earlier than the stipulated age. So a few of them who may be 5-year-olds may be in P1 rather than being in kindergarten. So when we're talking about children who are supposed to be in kindergarten, they'll be missing there, but they'll be in primary class 1. Then the reverse is also true. Some of them who are older, maybe they are 4 years, they are 5 years, but they are in creche or nursery school. Finally, a few parents, for various reasons, may keep their children out of kindergarten. We can't rule that out. So it's not like they go and they are sacked or whatever. It is due to a number of reasons that keep children out of school.
Do we know how many of them are disabled?
The figures are there, but I can't give the figures to you outright. But if we take the statistics, roughly 10% of every population may have some forms of disability. So if we're going by this, then we'll be talking about close to 40,000 out of the 400,000 who may be suffering from.
Considering the wide spectrum, Mr. Musa, of these issues.
No, the name is Isa. Madis Adamu Isa.
Thank you very much. What do you think can be done to reverse the trend?
There are lots of things that UNICEF is supporting the ministry doing. And in everything that we do, the ministry takes the lead, but UNICEF supports. As we speak now, there's a policy dialogue going on at Aburi, where UNICEF is supporting the ministry to come out with a policy to help to look at all the aspects of early childhood education, from access through quality, teacher preparation, everything is happening there. There's also a second thing, right age enrollment. So UNICEF is again supporting the ministry to come out with a campaign strategy that will address all the issues related to access. So there will be a massive campaign on radio, on TV, and everywhere to get all these children back to school. At least the message will get to people.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Madis Adamu Isa. From education to health, and the group of unemployed trained nurses has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the Ministry of Health to ensure they are given postings as promised by President Akufo-Addo in a State of the Nation address. According to the group, even though the president stated that over 14,000 of its members have been cleared for employment, only 8,000 have been posted. It says it will embark on a demonstration if the ministry fails to post the rest. Some of the unemployed nurses say they have been idle for years after completing their training. Joshua Smith has more in the following report.
President Akufo-Addo in his SONA 2019 said 14,254 certified nurses in the public sector have been financially cleared for posting, but the coalition says the numbers are lesser. Deputy National Organizer of the coalition, Bilekmia Moses Liman, says only 8,214 nurses have been posted.
The leadership of 2016 coalition Unemployed, nurse assistant clinicals and nurse assistant preventive receipt later on discovered that the 14,254 certificate nurses of the said batch who were cleared financially for postings, as stated by the president in his speech and later reiterated by the Director General of Ghana Health Service, was not so. The actual total number of clearance quota given to the various recruiting agencies to recruit for now with evidence is 8,214.
He added, Ghana Health Service and Christian Health Association Ghana were given 6,000 and 1,654 nurses respectively as part of the breakdown of the actual quota given the various recruiting agencies.
Below are the breakdown of the actual quota given to the various recruiting agencies to be engaged. As against the stated 14,254 financial clearance, we have 1, Ghana Health Service, 6,000, Christian Health Association, 1,654, Ghana Prison Service, 100, Ahmadiyya Mission Hospital, 105, Komfonoche Teaching Hospital, 105, Kolbu Teaching Hospital, also 105, and finally, Tamale Teaching Hospital with 150. That comprises the community nurses and that of the nurse assistant clinicals.
He cautioned the ministry against mixing the 2016 NAC and NAP with the 2017 batches for the nurse recruitment.
We further want to create the attention of the ministry that any attempt to add the about 730 nurse assistant clinicals and nurse assistant preventive 2016 refer group to the juniors, that is those who completed in the year 2017 November, will not be accepted. Since it has never happened before, as far as the Ministry of Health recruitment calendar or window for nurse assistant clinicals and nurse assistant preventive is concerned. And any move of that nature will signify that we will be employed in the year 2020.
The coalition of Unemployed 2016 nurse assistant clinical and nurse assistant preventive are also calling on government and other corporate bodies to investigate the dealings of Ministry of Health concerning this matter. Joshua Smith's report for Joy News.
We stay in the health sector, and paralysis, amputation, and painful death are extreme, devastating effects of snake and dog bites. Unfortunately, many people are at risk and not knowing what to do in case of an attack now. The situation at Drobonso in the Setre Afranso district of the Ashanti region perhaps is a reflection of what Ghanaians, especially in rural areas, contend with. In the last 6 months, 3 people have died of snake bites and another from suspected rabies, and several others have been treated. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin met with the family of the deceased and some of the survivors and files this report.
30-year-old Isaac Osei is physician assistant at St. Vincent Clinic here at Drobonso. He's been seeing cases of rabies and snake bites, 12 reported dog and 10 of snake bites in the last 6 months alone. Some incidents have gone unreported.
You don't even have the vaccine here. The cases, I think, those lucky and are able to buy the drugs or the vaccine, the antidote, they survive, and some died. I think snake bite cases, death cases that I've recorded here within the 8 months of my working here will be around 3. The dog bites, we had one just recently, last year, December, I think 2018, the girl came here with a bite.
22-year-old Victoria Jayu died of rabies in February 2019. Health officials say they tried unsuccessfully to save the situation.
Yeah, later on, I think about 2 weeks with complaint of suspected rabies. We tried to manage, refer the case to Agogo, but passed away.
This is where Victoria and her family lived for many years before a stray dog attacked her. Isaac Tewia is her brother.
She woke up in the morning to sweep the compound. The dog came around, but she had no idea it was a stray dog. Anyway, we have a dog that has delivered of puppies recently. So when the stray dog came, it started attacking the puppies. So my sister hit the dog with a broom, thinking it was the mother of the puppies.
And
that provoked the animal. And the dog suddenly attacked her and bit her. When she turned to run, the dog bit her again. So we were told to apply some amount of kola nut to prevent the poison from spreading to the other parts of the body. Like many other rabies survivors, Madam Jayu never lived to tell her story. Isaac himself is a victim of dog bites.
I have been bitten by a dog before, but I never knew dog bite could be serious. We got even worried when the doctors at the hospital warned us to stay away from her. I never knew it could be serious.
Victoria's mother, Majam Jaba, is traumatized and is hardly able to talk about her daughter's death.
I am saddened. I have really toiled to bring her up in hopes that she would succeed someday and take care of me and the younger ones. Now she's no more, and this breaks my heart.
Community-based health volunteers have also been victims. One of them, 25-year-old Pangari Salam, died under similar circumstances. According to the District Director of Health, Dr. Nasans Ufusukwabi, residents are scared. Health authorities say they are liaising with the local assembly to control stray dogs and also encourage victims of attack to report early for medical attention. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
Now, it's been about 50 days since President Akufo-Addo directed the two leading parties, the NPP and the NDC, to meet over the disbandment of their militia groups. Well, the journey to disbanding and disarming these groups begins today as the National Peace Council meets representatives of the two major political parties. There is more in this News Desk report.
The time has come to put an end to the phenomenon of politically related violence. I want to use the platform of this message to make a sincere, passionate appeal to the leaders of the two main political parties in our country, NPP and NDC, to come together as soon as possible, preferably next week, to agree on appropriate measures to bring an end to this worrying and unacceptable phenomenon of vigilantism in our body politic.
That was President Akufo-Addo on February 21, 2019 in Parliament during the State of the Nation address. This was subsequently followed by exchange of letters between the NDC National Chairman, President Akufo-Addo, the NPP, and subsequently the National Peace Council over demands, requirements, and expectations. Some were met, others were dismissed. Civil society groups were vociferous in their call for the two leading parties to commit to the process beyond the lip service.
We call on the NPP and NDC to demonstrate good faith
towards the dialogue by formally dissociating themselves from political vigilantes and recommitting themselves to fight against electoral violence, impunity, and injustice. We further call on the two parties to desist from publications of their correspondence with the President and among themselves in the media. This will go a long way in enhancing the environment needed to proceed with the dialogue.
After minor disagreements over the need for a mediator and all outstanding issues cleared out, the day is finally here. Sami Jemfi is Communications Director of the NDC.
We will be there, and it is our hope that we will achieve some strides in our efforts to end the canker of political vigilantism.
National organizer of the MPP, Sami Ewuku, says the party is committed to the process.
It's time for all of us to sit around the table.
The parties are poised for today's meeting to agree on the terms of engagement, and so is the mediator, the National Peace Council. Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante is chairman.
It's a technical meeting involving committee members from the NDC, MPP. They are meeting to discuss terms of reference and terms of engagement. Then we'll be in a position to tell the public the venue and the timing for the mediation.
Joy News will be following keenly as part of our campaign to disband party militias now.
Now, the AM show's Kojo Yankson is at the venue of today's meeting. He joined the program with some details. Kojo, has the meeting started?
Yes, in fact, Daniel, the meeting started pretty much on the dot around 10 a.m. They've been in there for quite a while. They just about 3-4 minutes ago took a break, a quick comfort break, and we had the opportunity to see some of the attendees. And for the NDC, Kakra Isamwa is here, as well as their chairman, Kusam Popo, the General Secretary, Stephen Ketia. We also have here Prosper Bani, Malaba Kopito to be Kwache, somebody who signed in as Cape Upuku. I'm not too certain who that is. And also, we've seen Nana Ato Daz. For the NPP, we have John Bwedu, the General Secretary, Freddie Blay, the Chairman, Dan Boche, Gary Nemako, Rita Asobayere, Sami Awuku, Mark Upuku, and Yawabeng Samwa, who is the Director of Communications for the party. Representing the Peace Council, Archbishop Duncan Williams, who just about 2 minutes ago stepped out of the room to receive a phone call and gave a nice smile and wave to the media, but didn't really stop to talk. Upuku Nina, Nana SKB Asante, Nana Ejakuma Dufie, the second, as well as George Amu, who's the acting executive secretary of the Peace Council. All of them are here, and this meeting has been going on now for at least 2.5 hours. They should be having their lunch now, but they have said to us off record, at least, I've heard from Mr. Yawade and someone off record, who said that they will not be giving any statements until after the meeting. This meeting is really supposed to be just one to flesh out the modalities for the dialogue going forward. And so, so far it has gone well, but they will not be giving out any statements until after this meeting concludes.
Right, thank you very much, Kojo, for that update. And you can stay tuned to Joy News, your most credible news source, for all the updates on that ongoing meeting. Now, 40 small and medium-scale enterprises selected by the Ghana Exports Promotion Authority to take part in the Maiden Trade for Sustainable Development Hub program. That's coming up when Daryl joins us with business.